Well, welcome everyone. I'm so happy that you're with us today. Today we're going to be talking about stop being the answer queen. And not that any of you are, but just in case, this is going to be important for you to let go of that thing because you don't want to keep doing it unless you want to be exhausted for the rest of your career. So let's figure this out and get you through this. So please take out a paper and pencil so that you can write it in, write some notes, because you want to go back and read those notes afterwards. By the way, Rosalind, I love your grateful shirt. That's beautiful. Thank you. Oh, yay. And I have someone from Hawaii that I just recently wrote to. Leanne, I'm so happy that you're here with us today. Thank you. And Barbie, where are you calling in from? Please type into the chat box. While everybody's finding their paper and a pen. If you haven't got a 4-colored pen, buy one at one of the stationery stores. Really the best way to take notes, or always have colored markers when you do these kinds of things, because you're going to remember more. It anchors in learning. All right, so here we go. And from Michigan, Barbie, thank you so much. It's a beautiful state. Glad that you're with us. And Edie, I'm so happy that you're here. Please type into the chat box where you're calling in from. So you must have called in because you wanted to give up your crown. I'm certain of that. Maybe you're a little tired of being that answer queen. So this is your opportunity to give it up. So right now, everybody just get your crown on there, because I know it's probably there anyway. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to take it off, throw it on the floor, and stomp on it. We're going to give that crown up, let it crash and burn, because you don't want to be hauling that thing around. Plus, it's heavy. I mean, that one in the picture kind of looks pretty heavy too. So we want to get rid of some of that stress and weight and responsibility. So how do we do that? Get rid of the crown. Stop being the answer queen or king. So are you tired of everyone needing you for direction? See, we build into our business codependency. And if you don't know what that word is, go look it up. It's in the dictionary. There's tons of books on it. But sometimes we want people to need us, and that's really nice. You cannot grow a big team when you got a lot of people hanging on you. So we want to empower people. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But if you're really tired of everybody needing you for direction and you being responsible for people, being responsible, because guess what? They are independent contractors. You're really not responsible for them. But when you're giving them all direction and they're not having to think about them for themselves, they aren't independent. They are codependent. That's where we want to move beyond so that you can grow a big team. So what happens if you give the wrong answer? If you give an answer that just doesn't work? So, oh, well, have you tried this? So maybe they're not getting any bookings right now. Several of you are in party plan, and that's a term we use. So they're not booking any parties or activities. And then you say, well, have you tried this? Have you done that? This would work. I do this. So-and-so did that. You're giving them the answers. You're giving them all these suggestions versus letting them figure it out for themselves. So guess what? When it doesn't work, it's you. It's your fault. Totally your fault. They don't have to own any responsibility for that because you're the one that told them what to do. So let go of that. Let go of that. Let people be responsible for their success in their own business. So how does asking questions versus giving answers empower people? Do you know, I'll give you an example. I don't know how many of you have children or nieces or nephews or neighbors or get people go in your Sunday school class. I don't know who's got what and so on, but there's a lot of kids in the world that are looking to somebody to teach them. Now, the example that I use, you can't ever tell my kids I told you this, but it's a true story. I just told my son about 2 weeks ago, and he goes, I remember when you did that, Mom. So they would come to me, well, where's my underwear? Where's my bra? Grace would say, Mom, I don't have any bras. Well, because I was really trying to teach them if they had dirty laundry, get their basket downstairs and put their clothes in the right bucket. We had the white, we had the colored, we had the dark, and we had the gross. The gross was my son's own bucket. It was always dirty. Anyway, so I said that you to get your laundry done, your responsibility is to get the clothes downstairs. But then they'd forget they're under the bed or wherever. And I can remember Grace saying to me one time, "Where's my bra?" Now, that was the days of training bras. Now, I do want to tell you, I don't know that you can train these things to do anything. But so it was kind of more like an undershirt, I guess. But anyway, "Where's my bras?" Like it was an urgent matter. And I said, "Well, I don't know. You didn't have them in the bucket." So I just want to run this by you. You can wear mine. You can wear a dirty one, or you can wear none. It's up to you totally. Oh, and by the way, the undershirts are still available. Oh, that didn't work very well with her. So then my son goes, "Mom, I don't have any underwear." And I said, well, you could wear mine, the ones with the little bows on them and things. Or you could wear your dad's. They might be a little bit big. Or you could wear those gross ones that are in the dirty, your own basket. Or you can wear none and be really careful when you zip that hammer up. So there were things that they needed to learn to be responsible for themselves and their own actions. I didn't know how to coach in those days. A different way to approach that would have been, Dane, when you think back a couple of days ago, what did I say to you if you wanted to have clean underwear? Oh, you told me I had to get them down in the basket. So where are they now? Oh, they're somewhere in my room. So what are you willing to do to get clean underwear? Oh, I guess I better bring him downstairs. I would know better what to do instead of giving consequences. But I'm still learning, even to this day. So anyway, that whole gist of asking questions versus giving the answers is that it makes them use their own mind, makes them realize that they can think for themselves, empowers people to be responsible for themselves, empowers people to make their own choices and not to blame somebody else if something doesn't work because it's their responsibility. They chose to do whatever that was that way. So with my grandchildren, I'm very different than I was with my kids because I have some new skills. It's only taken me 20 some years to get these down, but I got them down now. Anyway, I ask my grandchildren different things than I did with my kids. And I'm telling you, they're all so confident and empowered. And I just went to their soccer game. The little girls, they're 4 and 6 on Saturday. They're on the Barbie team. And I'm telling you, they are really cute. They have these little pink outfits and pink chin guards and everything. Anyway, and one lady made them pink bows, which is not a good thing. They're those curly ones. So poor little Cooley is out there looking at her bow. She doesn't even know where the ball is. But anyway, so I'm watching these kids and they're leaders on their team. They're leaders on their team, especially Anuhea. She was born a leader. And I look at her and she is confident. And even Anuhea was the bow queen that day. She was confident in what she was doing. Man, she ran and it was like, "Get out of my way, honey," and just pushed on through wherever she was going. I think it's because they have learned to be responsible for themselves. Nobody else can do everything for them. They want something to really happen. They got to do something about it. So it teaches from a very young age. And by the way, coaching isn't just for your business. That's one aspect of your business. And how to use questions is one skill out of 5. I'm going to tell you though that I believe we will have a world of people that are much more empowered and confident if every person started using this approach to leading people. It definitely will make a difference. So what happens when they create their own answers? They own it. It's theirs. And they're much more apt to put it into action, to do something with it. So I guess, they feel that they have the responsibility to take action with that. It's not me just telling them what to do. You know, if you want your kids to come back home from college and then they go off on their own and then they get married with their laundry basket full of clothes because they don't know how to do their laundry, or they think mom does it better, or mom knows what to do. Well, I guess I want my children and grandchildren to grow up to be responsible for themselves. I mean, my son does the laundry in his family. He does it for his two children and himself and his wife. And he does it because he feels confident that he's capable of it. So when people create their own answers, they just have more confidence and more belief in themselves. We're building their self-esteem. So what are open-ended questions? So I'm going to ask you to write these words down on your paper. Open-ended questions are questions that can't be answered by a yes or a no, or maybe. They're questions that create conversation. So they generally begin with these words: who, what, when, where, and how. Let me say those again. Who, what, when, where, and how. And I'm thinking that for everybody, if we just, all conversations, if we ask those questions in that manner, they come from a place of curiosity, there's no judgment in it, it will be very different. Bernadette, you were so smart. Open-ended questions that can't be answered by yes or no. You answered it, Bernadette. You get a star today. I do want to say this other comment because it's pretty funny. Our high schooler was shocked back in the 6th or 7th grade when his classmates didn't know the steps of getting laundry done. In a class activity about creating a procedure document, of course, he started his list with one. Number one, make sure you have something to put on before you are off before you take off what you're wearing. Thank you, Marnie. That was a big help for everybody. So, but you taught them early. Most kids don't know. I remember when Grace actually came to Hawaii. We were living in Texas, I think, at the time. And she came to, no, we were living in Washington. She came over here, and I'm telling you, she was the only one out of 9 girls that lived in this gigantic house. She was the only one that knew how to call in a pizza. She was the only one that knew how to make a doctor's appointment. She was the only one that knew how to do laundry. She had to teach her whole household how to do laundry. And I thought, holy smokes, how did these kids survive, you know? Anyway, so taking responsibility. Open-ended questions: who, what, when, where, how. Notice there wasn't a why, because there's perceived judgment with a why question. Why don't you have any new team members? Why are your sales so low this month? Even if you're smiling, why did you do that? There's judgment. So be careful with that why word. So they can't be answered with a yes or a no. Now, I'm going to tell you the words not to start your questions with. Words to not begin your questions with are, and then you can type it into the box if you'd like, any word that will only give you a yes or a no or a maybe answer. So let's talk about that a minute. And type in anyone that you can come up with, but yes, no, or maybe. So would you be willing to do that? No. Well, I don't want to do that. No. Could you do that? No. Can you? So can, could, and would are 3 big ones. Did you? Have you? Thank you, Katie. Did was a good one. So there's lots of words that will lead to a closed-ended question. Closed-ended question closes the door to communication. If you ever go to a restaurant and watch older couples and nobody's talking to each other, pretty good chance that they use closed-ended questions. You know, did you remember to take out the garbage today? No. Well, then we may have a battle. But if they say yes, oh, okay. So end the story. We've got to open people up to learn how to talk. And when they're talking, we learn more about them. And we get a better understanding of where they are and what they're thinking. So we want to use those open-ended questions. not closed-ended questions with people. If someone calls and says, I don't have anybody that's interested in the business. If you said to that person, well, did you ask your parents or did you ask your brother or sister? No, no. They're feeling bad about that for one thing, but your question is not going to get you anywhere. So if you ask, who have you spoken with so far? Will make a difference. I learned a long time ago to ask, is there any reason why you can't take out the trash? Yeah. Um, is there? They might say no to that one, so it's a little bit manipulative, and I understand that, but what would hold you back from taking out the trash? Not why didn't you take out the trash, but what happened today that you weren't able to take out the trash? I'm going to make them think of what really is going on. So it can work. Is there any reason why you can't take out the trash? Oh yeah, I feel cruddy, or oh, I have a headache, or they might give you a bunch of stuff. I don't know. So open-ended questions are going to be important. So what happens when you use open-ended questions? I kind of said it, but you tell me. What do you think happens when we use open-ended questions? Type it into the box there. What happens when people communicate more? Here's another one. Instead of asking a teenager if they had taken the trash out to the curb, I started asking them what had they noticed outside when they took the trash out. That's interesting. So it kept them, it's an expectation that they took the trash out, and it makes them talk. So if they're observant around them, that's a good thing. Starts a conversation. Good conversation starters. That's what happens when you have we have conversations. You know, it's so sad today, but I think a lot of youth think the only way to communicate is through texting. And I was in a restaurant not so long ago, and there was a mom and a dad and two teenagers, and they all sat down and they had four different phones. All of them were on devices. And the mother said to her son out loud, you know, what did you want to order? He goes, Mom, I already texted it to you. And I thought, we are kind of losing the art of conversation. And it seems to be little code words. TY is thank you. You know, that's why not a lot of them even know how to spell anymore. So this is going to open up the door for conversation. A big thing. And they've got to talk about it versus saying yes or no and get out of it. That's why I don't allow kids to say fine. Even my husband doesn't say fine. How are you doing today? Fine. He knows I'm going to ask, well, what does fine mean to you today? What does that mean? I ask, what's the best thing that happened today? They'll talk to you about that. So what is a leading question? A lot of people are confused about this, folks. Sometimes we think the idea of asking these questions is to lead them where we want them to go. That's not the idea. The idea is to take them where they choose to go. So we got to know where they want to go or what they want to accomplish, but we can't lead them there. Because, you know, it's like if you've ever led, we have these dogs. They're so ugly that they're cute. And they're just very interesting dogs. They all different, who knows what they are. But anyway, I can remember when we've got Alexander, his name is Alexander. When we first got Alexander, we tried to lead him down the road. He wouldn't follow. He didn't want to be led. He didn't want to go. And now, this is years later, he can find his own way. He can lead us around the block, or he can lead us down to the marsh. He is thinking for himself. So it's just really an interesting thing. Oh, here's what the main people say. I'm all set. I'm all set. I'm all set. How you doing? I'm all set. So what are you set with? What are you set with? What does your day look like? just a little bit different. You know, and there's Australia, because I do a lot of work in Australia, New Zealand, and they'll say, no problem, no problem. What do you hear? It's a problem. So there's a difference between contrast speak and clarity speak. And contrast speak is no problem. Or that's easy. I'm doing great. I can do that. Difference. So a leading question leads people not necessarily where they want to go, where you want them to go. So don't you think it'd be a great idea if you got on the phone and called 10 people? You'd probably have somebody that's interested by next week. No, I'm trying to tell them what to do in the form of a question. That doesn't work either. So what would be one thing that you could accomplish today that would move you towards having some prospects to talk to next week? I'm going to make them think. You know, that's why we actually have Coach Excellence School for Educators, because teachers give a lot of information they don't necessarily draw from the students. We're not taught how to coach as a teacher. And then we got a lot of people that are ready to be spoon-fed for the rest of their life. I want them to stand on their own, to think on their own. They're going to have a better, more fulfilled life. So leading questions are not the answer. So some opportunities to ask great questions. When can you see in your business that there would be a great opportunity to ask a question? Who's come to you with something that they want you to fix? Remember, in coaching, nobody's broken. You're not here to fix them. That's not what your job is. But they come to you to give them the answer, to tell them what to do. So they don't have to figure it out themselves, and they don't have to own that answer. So what would be that something that somebody would come to you with? You can type it into the box, or you can unmute yourself. They might say, how do I do this? Or what are the ingredients of this product? Now, here's a stranger thing. What are the ingredients of this product? You give them the answer, and then they think they have to know the answer for all of the products. Therefore, they can't be successful at this. Therefore, they just leave. So instead, when they came to you and asked, so who wants to be that person? Janelle, will you do that for me? Will you just ask me, Nicki, will you tell me the ingredients of this product?
Nicki, will you tell me the ingredients of this product?
Janelle, I could tell you that, but then you won't know where to find it when you have to look that up again, or for other products. Where do you think you would find what the ingredients are of each of the products?
On the product package?
Great place to look. You're really resourceful. If you have one handy, let's grab one now and take a look at it. And what does it say on that package? And they might read it for you. And another question might be, so where on the website would you find out what the ingredients are? And they go to the product section. So where can I find XYZ in the back office? That's a very good point. Here's one. Can I do this or that? So good point for you to be thinking, how can I draw from, how can they prove to themselves how smart they are? Because, we teach people how to treat us, folks. Let me say that again. We teach people how to treat us. And if we are the answer queen, you're going to be wearing that crown for a lot of years till you make a distinction that that's not what you're going to do anymore. But you've got to let them know how that's going to look. You're going to notice, in the past, you would call me and ask me things like, where's the shipping policy? Or what's the host incentive this month? And I would always tell you. And what I realized was that was a disservice to you. If you didn't catch that, listen to the recording and you'll grab it. So I realized it was a disservice to you. So what you're going to notice over the next few months is that when you call me and ask me a question, I really am working towards empowering you so that you can find your own answers and so that you're going to be able to grow a big team because you're not going to have everybody calling you. But here's the thing that happens, folks. When you teach a team member to call you for something, they don't do that for their team. They just teach their team to call you too. So now you got double the people calling you for everything. You're going to drown. That's not a good thing. So here's another question. I heard once that if someone comes to you with a monkey on their back, you should make certain they do not leave the monkey on your back. And isn't it interesting how this happens? Their problem now becomes your problem because you are charged with solving it for them versus teaching them how to solve that. I learned a lot from my parents. I had amazingly brilliant people in my life. And my mom would say, Mom, how do I do this? Or Mom, what should I do? And she'd say, Nicki, what do you think is the best thing for you? Or what do you think would be the best option for you to handle that? She taught me how to swim for myself, not to wait for somebody to throw me a life preserver. And I've worked hard to do that with my children and my grandchildren, and always have done it with my team. Empower people. When you have empowered people, they are always going to be doing more than those that are disempowered because we think they're not smart enough to figure it out themselves. It's not what we want. So no monkey on the back. That's not a really very good thing. So some opportunities to ask great questions when they ask, what do you think I should do? Or what would you do if you were in this situation? Because they come to you with that too. Or maybe it is, what do you think is a better choice for me? Do this or do that? That you've got to learn how to turn that back to them. So I'm going to ask another person if they can give me a question, something like that, and then see how I can support you. Yay, Anne, how are you doing? Glad you're here with us. So anybody want to ask a question? Edline, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for being here today. So give me a question. Come on, what would you say to somebody? Maybe ask me this. I'm going to ask Edline. I know her. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman and a beautiful soul. So, Edline, here's your question for me. Nicki, I've got this trade show coming up. Do you think I should let all my team come for free and participate, or should I charge them and they take some responsibility in the booth? Okay, so that's what you just asked me, okay? So this is what I'm going to say to you. Edline, what do you think would be the best educational moment for them? If you pay for it or they pay for it, one question at a time, by the way, which way do you think they would take more responsibility? How are you going to answer that?
So you're asking me which option that we are going
you.
to helping
Yes.
them to decide on?
Because you just asked me, what do I do? Do I have them pay for it, or do I just have them come free? And so I asked you, if they have some skin in the game for that booth, which way do you think they would feel like they would be more responsible for their results?
If they were paying for themselves, not coming for free.
Mm-hmm. And so how are you going to express that to them, that you'd like them to participate in the fee? So all I'm doing here is getting her to think about it. She may not have an answer right now, and that's okay. That's a question for you to ponder. so that you're
Yeah.
prepared when you meet with those folks to let them know how this is going to work. She's trying to get me to tell her what I think she should do. And I'm not going to fall for that bait. Because if I'm always telling people what to do, they don't have to think for themselves. And I want them to learn to think for themselves.
So
So,
what if we were to flip the question back to her and ask her, how would she feel if she were asked to pay for her members to participate in an event that she would be arranging? Is that a bad way of approaching it?
no, not at all. It's making her think. And it's
Yes.
an open-ended question. How would you feel if you were asked to participate in a booth and for some of the financial burden for that? How would you feel about that? And what would that do for your desire to do well there? You know, two different questions. But excellent. But look at you. You're just thinking on your own, madam. I'm proud of you. Anybody else have a question that somebody's come to you with and you just didn't know how to make them be responsible to do it themselves and figure it out? I can guarantee you've had questions that people are coming to you. They want you to fix something.
I have a question, Nikki.
Yes, Lisa. Mary Lisa.
Hi. I haven't
Hi.
gotten your little tea towel mailed, but I will. Anyway,
Oh,
I was not good with follow-up, and I'm wondering if I should, I mean, this is going on 2 years, unfortunately. Should I go make schedule a message to say I'm sorry that I haven't been in touch, or just go from there, or go from here?
so first of all, let's take a look at the situation. What do you think was the reason for the delay in reaching out sooner?
It was a technical issue and a teaching issue that I didn't understand exactly how to do it.
Hmm. Okay. And what if you had this situation again with another booth, what would you do differently?
I would follow up the next day.
Hmm. So we've learned some things from this.
Yes.
So how receptive do you think the people will be if you reached out to them now versus not at all ever?
I guess I hope they would be receptive. I
Hmm.
mean, I can just be honest. I haven't been good at this. I'm sorry. I want to start new. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, what do you think about that?
I'd rather say something or send them a message without writing everyone off. I guess I would tell what I think or share what I think, and then let them make the choice if they want to get back in with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Let me ask you, if one person stepped back in, how many more people do you have engaged than you did before you made this decision to reach out?
One more?
One more. If you had 10 that re-engaged, how much would that have been worth your time to make that?
It would be worth the time. That would be 11.
So when do you plan to reach out to these people?
I have a trunk show at a boutique in a couple weeks, and I
Mhm.
wondered about inviting them to that, because most of them, these are people I met at vendor shows here in Sioux Falls,
Mhm.
and they'd be able, at least they'd be within driving distance, that they could come and see me again.
Hmm. So you could rebuild that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I mean, people are cheering you on over here.
I see that.
And invite
Thank
them.
you. I will.
Mel
I
said
will. Thanks so much, Nikki. What's
people
that?
will appreciate your honesty and your outreach. That's what Janelle said. People are forgiving. You're just getting a lot of encouragement in the chat box. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like something is better than nothing.
That's, yes, I agree with that. I like
And-
that.
And one other thought about this is when you do reach out, what does that say about your integrity?
That I am sorry and I do mean to do better.
Wow, you're a real person.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think so.
good.
Think
Hannah,
so.
good to see you there. I haven't seen you for a
Thank
while.
you so much.
You're very welcome. Happy to have you back, Hannah. Thank you. So we had some really good comments there. There's a lot of opportunities here, folks, to ask great questions. So let's take a look. When will you give up your crown and empower more people? You know, it's fun to earn a crown in this business when you're number one in this and number one in that. This is not the way you want to get a crown. You don't want to get a crown because you are disempowering people. Not intentionally. I know nobody isn't intentionally doing that, but it is like now. And Roxanne said, starting now, I'm going to give that crown up and become the person. Just start practicing. You know, there's very few things that people ask me and I don't have a question for it. Even if I make a little short statement, I'm still going to follow up with a question because I want to keep them engaged. I want to get to know them. That's what's way more important. And Hannah said, implement it immediately. That's so good. Well, you deserve that, honey. So let's practice for a minute. That's kind of what we've been doing is practicing. Everybody start practicing every opportunity that you have. Practice with your husband, practice with your children, practice with your mother, with your father, with your friends, with your clients, with your potential clients. Notice that you're not you gave up your crown. Notice that you did that and that you're really here in support of that person, that you care about them, which is really what this is all about. Show how much you care and how much you believe in them because you're willing to not give in to being the answer queen. I just know that there's so many times we want to fix people or we think they're coming to us for the solution. Most people don't really want you to give them the solution. They're looking for somebody to listen to them. And this is a last little tip for the night for those of you that are married or have a significant other in your life. For some reason, men want to believe that they have the answer and that they want to fix that situation and that you're coming to them because you're looking for an answer. And sometimes you just want to talk it out. So in communication with that person that's asking, you know, honey, I've got something I've been kind of thinking about and mulling around, and I'm not really looking for an answer or for you to fix this for me. I'm just looking to be able to express it out loud and for you to listen and to hear me. Are you okay with that? And my husband, every time when I've said that, he does it because it was in advance. And now if I forget that, sometimes he'll say, Nick, are you looking for an answer or a solution? Or you just want me to listen to you? I just really want you to listen to me. Okay. He's been trained, folks. Now it's almost 50 years. I do need to say that. But he was pretty good at that when we first met. Or he probably still wouldn't be around, I don't think. Okay, so practice at home. Spend time with yourself and with others. So what's next? We've got our next Coach Excellence School is coming up September 28th. Go to dswa.org/events, or you can see at the bottom of the screen, there was a specific URL. You can go to that and, you know, get yourself all the details and all the information that you need. And I know we have a lot of people on the line that have gone through our coach school. Some have done level 1, some have done level 2, some have done level 3. And there are some people that took level 1 6 times. And that's okay. But they always kept bringing their team back with them. And it's half price once you've gone. I'm just going to say to you that this is a life skill. This isn't just for today. You know, it's for your lifetime to have better friendships, better relationships, ease of working together with other people. Hannah, would you like to share something? Because you've been all the way through certification, and I love it when you're smiling. I know you got something you want to say, so go for it.
I'm just admiring you so much, Nicki, and thinking of all of the ways that you've contributed to my life, especially through coach school, and kind of laughing at myself because I did do level 1 more than once. And then realized I actually really was ready for level 2 and went all the way through the whole program. And I'm only late tonight because I was actually sending you a text just now that I was just talking about coach school and plugging away at all of the different ways that that coach school has enhanced not just my career, but lots of areas in my life as well. So thank you, Nicki. Mahalo.
Mahalo to you, and thank you. And thank you to everyone too who sent their good wishes and prayers for the people of Hawaii during our fires. And it is going better. I mean, people still, thousands of people that are without a home, but it is going better. We're going through some recovery, which is a really good thing. So I just wanted to tell you thank you for that too. This is how you can join our community. That's Facebook, and my personal account is NKOHOHO if you want to do that. I'd love to connect with you and meet you. And there's some additional things you can take a picture of that if you'd like. The whole key to really being in this community is to be involved. Coming to the free classes, coming to whatever you can do, get the newsletter, get on our mailing list, find out what interests you. And it's going to take some time to get all the skills down, but you know what? Just stay with it. Just stay with it. You don't have to do this forever. Just get started. And that's the key factor here. So I'm going to ask if there's anybody that has anything in particular that you would like me to address. Sometimes some guilt tripping in comparisons. That guilt is not a good thing, folks. Edie said this. If we make somebody feel guilty, we're not, that's disempowering. People can feel a little regret, but with a plan of how they're going to move past that the next time. So any other questions, comments, raise your hand or just open your line up.
Nicki,
That's Bernadette.
can you someday do the topic more in depth on people you don't know on Facebook and messengering them and developing that relationship, the type of questions to ask, how to get that relationship going so you can then offer them your product. Can you do that as a topic sometime?
I will. I am happy to do that. And if there's other topics that you would like to see happen on these day classes, these free classes, please send something to coach@dswa.org or info@dswa.org. And we'll put that into the queue because we kind of plan out on these so we can make sure we have things in order. But I'm just going to say something. How do you message them? Just like if you were in person with someone, it's like, what made you decide to write to me? Or I'm so happy that we're friends. How did you find me? Or what are you interested in connecting with? What around? And I know who is really, really good on this is Hannah, because she's built almost her whole business online. Hannah, would you share a couple thoughts that you use in connecting with people?
Yeah. So I would first be curious as to whether they requested you or you requested them. Obviously, when we're building on social, it's best if they're requesting us and requesting to connect with us. And so exactly what Nicki said is, as soon as you accept that friend request, getting into their inbox and say, thanks so much for connecting. I'm curious, what caused you to connect with me today? Anything that,
Been
that
friends
allows
for a long time, but you haven't connected with them personally.
friends for a long time, but you haven't connected personally.
Yeah.
Okay. I would be looking for a reason and a way to connect. I think, Nicki, it might have been you who said this, who quoted, I might be quoting here, that in order to be interesting, you must first be interested,
Oh,
right?
that was me. I've said that a billion times.
So when you're interested in them, reach out with your heart and with true, genuine interest in connecting with that person, and try to set products aside, and that will eventually come up naturally.
Thank you,
Thank-
Hannah. Thank you, Bernadette. So it's really, asking about them, learning about them. And most people are happy to have somebody care enough to want to even know who they are. Because we have friends on Facebook. Are they really friends? Or are they just someone that we've connected with on Facebook? I love to be able to make a difference for people. And Hannah just said it in the chat box. Find out how you can serve them. Find out what you can do for them. Even at live networking events, I always ask that question. I ask the question, who could I introduce you to that is here tonight? If there was something that you were looking for, how can I support you in finding that? Or what would that be? I guess I've been a matchmaker most of my life. People said I should have had a dating site, but I really didn't want to do that. But I've been a matchmaker for a good part of my life, helping people find something that they're looking for. In fact, I have a lot of couples out there saying, "Babe, that's single, don't write to me today," because I'm kind of holding back on that right away now. But I've introduced a lot of couples. It's just because it's good for them. When you have something good that you can share with somebody else, that's a good thing to do. So I am hoping that for each of you that you get what you want out of this business and out of life. So anybody else have a question, you can raise your hand, you can unmute yourself, put it in the box. We have a lot of first-time people here tonight that I've never seen before, but I'm so happy that you're here. And I even have a Leanne from Hawaii that has joined us, and I'm so happy that you're with us. Susie, thank you for being here. Your comments. This is your chance. Put into the box if you didn't want to speak up. I've had some men request friendship, but it makes me leery. Why would they want ruby ribbon? Okay, so sometimes it is weird, and lately they're being very brazen, and they put it right, post it what they want to say instead of doing a message to you. Oh, you look so pretty, I'd really like to meet you, you sound like you're a really nice person, and blah blah blah. Generally if I say I have 10 grandchildren and 2 great grandchildren and I've been married 50 years, they kind of back up. But I'm just saying, there are some men that are looking at business, but there are some that have different alternatives. So find out, I have this Facebook page for my business, and I'd love to support you. Let me know what you're interested in about Ruby Ribbon and see what they come up with. You never know. Oh, I need a new bra. Okay, well, that could be questionable. What was the Facebook group, please? Okay, let me see if I can go back to that. There's a Facebook group for members, and there is a Facebook group, just my own. So let me come down here, and that is facebook.com groups DSWA members, and there's a non-member group that I think it's just facebook.com. I mean, DSWA is what you'd look up for that. And or my personal was NKOHO. You don't have to say it to look it up. Aren't you glad? So anyway, get connected, however you can do that. I'm on LinkedIn, the company's on LinkedIn. So just get connected. That's all you got to do. If they are an American doctor and they love long walks on the beach and their favorite movie is The Notebook, just block them. Very good idea. Oh, you little squirrel. Okay. Well, there's some good comments tonight. I had loved being with you. This is your chance. If you got something to say it now, or as my mother would say, or forever hold your peace. Rosalind, I wish I could see your face. It's such a pretty picture of you, but I want to see you. Next time, come with your real face on. Oh, is that you? Did I just miss you? I think I scrolled past you. There you are. Thank you. Thanks for being with us. I appreciate you. And Ann, I just talked to on the phone recently, and I'm so glad I got to know you two better. All right, I don't see any comments, so I'm going to say goodnight for tonight, and hopefully we'll reconnect again soon. Check out the DSWA Coach School. So that is dswa.org/Eve School, because it's a night school. It'll give you all the details there. Go to the events page and you'll be able to see upcoming things that we're doing. And Bonne Nuit. Roxanne, how do you say that? Nuit? Oh, good night? Is that good night?
Good night. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Bonne
And
nuit.
did I say the last part again? So you say it correctly. I can say it correctly. Bonne nuit?
Nuit.
Nuit.
Bonne nuit.
Ah, you say it so
Nuit.
much better. Ask me to say a Hawaiian word and I'll get that one down really good. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night and have a great, great day. Aloha.